Hey, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Monday Moments. And it's the first week of June, so we start a new month. We'll begin in just a few moments. We'll give it a few minutes. I hope everybody's had an awesome week, and I can't wait to share with you what I actually just seen. It was it was one of those things that couldn't have happened at a better moment. We're going very casual and relaxed tonight. Um, we're just going to enjoy tonight. I'll explain what's going on for this month as far as our topics, and we have some really cool things coming up. So I'm excited. And we should be hopefully going. We only have about another 2 minutes. I'll put my links in while I'm waiting. It's been a crazy week, to say the least. And I still have a headache this is in part why I am not, we're doing casual. I have a bit of a migraine going. My head is not as hard as the kitchen counter. I whacked my head yesterday morning, and that is how we started the week. But it can only get better from here, guys. That was not a good thing. Left myself with quite the egg and quite the headache. So we have another moment or so. You can always check us out also on Instagram. Our handle is the Doodle Den Foundation. They changed it on me. I'll double check and I will post that up on the foundation, Doodledon Foundation's Facebook page, as well as the LLC page. All right, it's 7 o'clock, so I guess we're going to start this and get this going. So first, before we go any further, I would like to apologize for last week's video. For those of you who don't know, we live in rural Maine. And whether we have connectivity is sometimes to be seen. And we're like in a valley in between the mountains, and storms just pop up out of absolutely nowhere. And sometimes it'll be sunny and beautiful and you're thinking you're doing good, and then all of a sudden there's a huge thunder shower. So what happened last week was, as we were doing our live, we lost all signal, because everything we have through signal doesn't go through like landlines or from like lines from the street, but rather through satellite. So if there's a storm and there's a cloud, then we lose our connectivity. So it can be kind of a pain, but the payoff is much better. I would so much rather be in the rural wilderness where I can feel safe and I can, see nature around me, and it's therapeutic in a lot of ways. And that's kind of what we're doing the month of June, is finding what works for different people. And we have a couple of guests that we have coming on. One is next week, and her name is Sarah Williams. I've got to reach out to her. Unfortunately, there's things have been going crazy. And she will be on. I can't wait for you all to meet her. And we have a surprise that we are going to introduce to the Doodle Den Foundation. It does not breathe. I'll just put it that way. But it's something that I think is really special. And Sarah, who is another small business owner, as you know, we are as well. We don't just have the nonprofit. You can also see in our comments, we also put our store website down. The reason for that is with every purchase that you make on the doodledenllc.com website, 10 automatically goes to the Doodle Den Foundation. So she's another small business owner, but she's also got some things that maybe she can help people with maybe trying something different or understanding something or saying, she has, I think, a lot of really valuable information. So she will be next week, and then the week after that which will be the third week in June, will be Janelle DeVoe. And she's actually one of our board members, and she's also one of my bonus kids. And she will be on. Oh, just popped into the chat. Hey, hon, how are you? I was just talking about you, matter of fact. So if you're there and you can see in the chat, Janelle Angel DeVoe, my bonus kids, she also has her own story that she can tell about going through the rehabilitation process as a younger person. When people think of rehabilitation or injury, many times they go to older people or, 30, 40, 50 and on. She was really young and had to go through it. And at the Doodle Den, we help regardless of age or ability to pay. So that is how we're just a little bit different on that end. But I think maybe Janelle can give us some really awesome insight into what it was like being a really basically a kid going through this. It's not an easy thing. And I can tell you, she is doing absolutely awesome now. And she makes me proud in a lot of ways, as does my youngest daughter, who is another little fighter. And I cannot tell you all how blessed I am. And then we have Ray, who also is the ropes and the reins, and he's an awesome guy. And without him, honestly, I'd be lost. A couple of other things I wanted to talk about this week. I went over why it was so short last week. We went over what's the topic for June is going to be basically, and we are not giving out any medical information. This is just sharing stories and support. And if you come across something that you want to try, or you say, hey, it might work, talk to your doctor. Don't do anything. We don't know your individual circumstances, and we are not medical professionals. Just gonna throw that out there. I also want a heads up on the Father's Day raffle, which we will be drawing next week. And you can enter that by clicking on the link in the chat, the www.doodleandfoundation.org. We love you too, sweetie. Thank you. I'm proud of you too. Aw, she made me blush. I love her. So I lost my train of thought. She just like made my heart happy, and I lost my train of thought. Um, oh, so what we're doing the Father's Day raffle next week, and that is a watch that we are going to be raffling off. And to do that, all you have to do is visit www.thedoodleden.foundation. With every $5 that you donate to the Doodle Den Foundation is one entry into our raffle. Sorry, as you can maybe see, it's a Morphic watch for dads or the special man in your life, whether it's your dad, your husband, boyfriend, somebody that's a dad. Could be a fur dad. So here is, yeah, I'm doing well tonight. You can see it right there. I'm trying to do it so it don't glare. It's a Morphic. You can also see pictures of it online. It has a leather band, and it's waterproof first, so water resistant, not waterproof, but it comes. So if you want your chance at winning that, visit www.thedoodledenfoundation.org. $5, one entry, $10, two entry, and so on. So now the other thing that we can speak about is, as we go through June, we're going to see how many different approaches, and we want to hear some stories and make this open up into a discussion of people that have gone through things, and to really let's find the solution together. Right before I came on tonight, on I believe it was CBS, Nora O'Donnell, it was a special report with Lisa Ling. Unfortunately, I only caught the second part of it, but it was kind of interesting that it was regarding nursing homes and how they're putting profits before patients. And there was a lovely family that was on, speaking of a family member that had gone into a nursing home that was a for-profit nursing home for rehabilitation. I believe it was she broke her leg or she broke something, and she was there for rehabilitation. And 8 weeks, within 8 weeks, she had unfortunately passed away from a combination of pneumonia and sepsis. And her family was saying how they could go there, ring the bell, nobody would go. Come to find out, as they were going through, she had an open wound on her that had gangrene set in. And ultimately, that is what. And I had to stop for a minute. And I did get permission to bring this up. One of our other board members, actually, it was almost the same exact thing. For-profit nursing home. He was a healthy 74, almost, well, what he was there, he turned 75. We made him an awesome candy bar cake, which is something that the Doodle Den Foundation will be starting to do soon as well, where we can even maybe raffle one of those off. So he was 74, he was 75, but he had lived with this person, which is actually one of the board members, and he had fallen and broken his leg. Well, he went to the hospital and he was doing better, but he really broke it where he needed surgery. So they had him go to a nursing home that was close by to rehabilitate him. He left the doctors and he was able to stand up. And they put a walking boot on him. And unfortunately, at that time, it was during COVID. And even though at that time they were negative, the staff didn't really want to interact with any of the patients. So when he went to the doctor, they put a walking boot on him. It was far enough in the pandemic where things were starting to open back up. So about 3 days later, he called this person who had ultimately been his main caregiver for a while, even though he could do pretty much a lot on his own, but he was getting older and needed a little help here and there. And he said that his foot was really burning. And this went for a few days. And now we're talking about somebody who generally does not become very pushy. She doesn't like confrontation. However, something in her lit a fuse. And she called the nursing home during first shift, thinking, the nurses would be there. And she was told by the nurse on the phone, this is not our problem. We have somebody on second shift do it. And she said, he had told her, I'm sorry, let me reverse, sorry. When he told her it had been burning and he couldn't stand the pain in his leg, he also told her that the walking boot, now, mind you, this was a walking boot, not made for wearing all the time, specifically for walking. And these were directions that were clearly stated to this facility. And clearly, it couldn't have been any more obvious. And I believe that it was somebody from the nursing home, quote unquote, rehabilitation, if that's what you want to call it, that brought him to the doctors and was there. So they knew 100% it was made for walking. It was not made for just daily use. So they had not had him up at all. They had not, he was supposed to be going through physical therapy. Absolutely nothing. They put him back in the bed and left him. So she was like, no, somebody needs to go down there now. They on second and trying to blame it off. Well, finally, the same day she turned around and yelled at this head nurse, no, you're going to go and you're going to check on it. And about 20 minutes later, she was actually on the phone with me. She called me back and she said, let me call you back. It's, the facility. Okay. She called me back irate. And I don't think I've ever seen her quite as irate as I did in that moment. The nurse called her back and said, well, we took it off and he has, and she gave some huge medical term, and she said, do you know what that means? And this person said, no, what does it mean? And they said, it means he has gangrene. He had gangrene from them not taking the boot off, not cleaning the open wound that they knew was there. And they said that have an ambulance take him to the hospital. Okay. That was at, I want to say like 11:30 or so in the morning. And at 6:00 that night, they were still waiting for the ambulance because rather than calling 911, they decided that they could hold off and they would just wait for a transport to be available. He didn't get there until later that evening, and he was admitted. He was put on severe antibiotics, and then he was transferred to a hospital out of state because it was beyond what any hospital in the state of, at that time, Rhode Island, where we were, could do. Unfortunately, they tried everything that they could, multiple antibiotics, but he had sepsis, and it had actually gone pretty much through his entire bloodstream by the time they got him there. And he passed away. Had somebody been watching in that facility, it wouldn't have happened. Had people been doing their jobs, it wouldn't have happened. Had it not been, he would call them and hit his button, but they wouldn't answer him. And the story on the news tonight brought me back when she was dealing with all of this and dealing with the rehabilitation, if that's what you want to call it, nursing home. And she was asking me, because I had been stuck in one for numerous months, and I kept saying, no, do it this. And I was finally out. And we were going back. I was trying to help her as much as I could, as far as, no, tell them to go down there. And she did everything in her power, short of sitting outside his room 24/7 to make sure that people were doing their jobs. So here lies the question. Where does the blame fall? On the facility, absolutely, because they're taking patients that they're not equipped for. The caretakers, the hired caretakers, the nurses, the CNAs, the LPNs, doctors, they're not trained in rehabilitative medicine. They are in geriatric medicine. So when I seen this tonight, it was almost like the exact same story. And these poor people are really going through it. And these are things that we are trying to change. And we can only change this with your help. And that's going to be through sharing our content, sharing our lives, letting people know that the Doodle Den Foundation, yes, we are in Maine right now, but we are already looking at expanding into other states. We also have some really exciting news coming up in August, but we'll get there maybe at the end of July. So we need to change this, and together we all can. We need to make it so that it's safe for people and comfortable for people. And this is where the Doodle Den Foundation comes in. We want to try and get people back home. And what people, I think part of what's lost is there's so many components to the rehabilitation process after significant injury or illness, especially when it is life altering, that they think if your body is healed, you're healed. Or if your body is healed as much as it's going to. That what needs to be understood is that it's also psychological. It's also so many feelings. Like we discussed last month, you go into depression, anxiety, frustration, anger, feeling like you're a burden. You go through all these emotions, but they don't have anybody there for you to work through these emotions with. You're left on your own. That's another thing that the Doodle Den Foundation looks to change. If you are in the state of Maine and you are able to volunteer, we also need volunteers we're getting groups together that will be going into nursing homes to visit people that are in the rehabilitation process, so that there's eyes on them. The more eyes on them, the better. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't have people that are able to be there with us. And you're kind of left on your own devices, and they know who comes in and who goes out. So you kind of get forgotten about. So that's one of the things we aim to change. Another thing we aim to do is to give people a place to come for support, a place to come for resources, a place to come for compassion and understanding, a place that is able to help with getting people back home. That means helping get them a ramp to get into their home, whether that means helping them get a wheelchair, helping with co-pays, helping with meals, if they need maybe helping with somebody coming in, to help them in the home. There's a lot of different things that can go into getting somebody home, but it is possible. And honestly, most of the time, you heal so much better at home than you do anywhere else. I know I can speak from my own personal experience. The times that I was in a nursing home, every single time, never failed, I ended up with a staph infection in the incision. I came home this last surgery, thank goodness for Ray and my dad, who agreed with me that I wasn't going back to a nursing home. And Ray brought me back to Maine, and him and my youngest daughter have really they have stepped up in ways that I can never thank them for. And without them, I'd be lost. And I know not everybody has that. So we want to be able to reach out to people. Another thing that the Doodle Den is doing, as you all know, is our pupperoos, our little Australian Shepherd puppies. They are crazy, getting crazier and crazier by the day. If they grow into their legs, we may be in trouble. They're hysterical, and they are learning so quickly. We have videos that should be being posted. I will double check and see where those are. But they're a little difficult right now to put on camera, but I will have them on camera very soon, within the next couple of weeks, to say hello, and you all can see them live. Ray actually has to go and sit with them physically, or they will do nothing but bark, because one does that. That would be little Miss Moxie, because she thinks that you should be talking to her and loving her. Harper just lets her go, and she'll then push her out of the way when you come out. They're hysterical. They go outside and jump off the steps and literally halfway in the yard. My poor golden doodle, one runs under, one runs over. Ray says that they honestly, literally at this time now, fly through the air, like legs totally out, like super dog. Except we have two of them. The good part thing today, though, was that the pups, if one has a strong point and the other one may not, they watch each other and they're feeding off each other. So if one does something, if they've started their training, they're they're getting there. We have a long way to go. But if we say, Ray says a command at this point, and does the hand signal, one will pick it up but she'll watch her sister and watch what her sister does, and then she does it. And it's almost like if one gets confused, like, wait, what does that mean again? She looks to her sister, which is kind of cool. They are very good. Oh my Lord. Gave him a bath, and they, over the weekend, eh, get baths like a weekly basis, if not more, usually a lot more, because they're usually getting into something. But we put them in and the other one almost had meltdown. They are cute. These cute. Janelle, you are gonna love them. They are going. They will climb all over you. They will, and they're jumping about 4 feet in the air from a standstill at this point. So yes, they are part kangaroo. Hence the pupperoos. But they are doing really well, and they are going to eventually, once they're old enough, be our mamas for our service dog breeding program, where one of the obstacles that I ran into was when I was told that I was a service animal. Now, mind you, I was in Rhode Island at the time. They then gave me information, which was the social worker, information on the service dog program for Texas. Now, I had a broken neck. I was in Rhode Island in a nursing home, and they told me I had to fly to Texas 3 times before, and it would be tens of thousands of dollars. How I was going to do this, I don't know. I started making phone calls and found out that there was actually a program that the ACI in Rhode Island trained service animals. And the nursing home in Rhode Island had no idea about this. So if they're in the rehabilitation end of it, you would think that that would definitely be something they knew. But because there's a 5-year wait list and tens of thousands of dollars. So our mamas, we will be donating in the very beginning 1 to 2 pups out of every litter to somebody in need of a service animal or an emotional support animal, free of charge. We hope eventually to be able to make the entire litter be able to go to those 2 very specific service animal or emotional support animal, depending on the animal's personality and how they're doing. And Janelle, it is funny. You're going to have to FaceTime me later, and I will show you what they're doing to me. You will laugh. Half my house is puppified, and the other half we're trying to puppify. And even the puppified end is no longer puppified because they can jump straight up in the air and over like it's absolutely nothing. The other day, I was actually on the puppy end, and as many of you know, I am in a wheelchair. I refuse to say that I'm going to be in this the rest of my life. Who knows I refuse. Here's my deal with medicine, and I'm going to be very honest. My thing is, has anybody ever noticed that they call it practicing medicine? Just a question. It's called practicing medicine for a reason. Nobody knows what's going to work. Nobody understands it. They can be an expert in practicing in a certain area in the body, but nobody knows. Ultimately, it's up to your body. It's up to the man up there. It's up to how far you're willing to push. It's on how strong your spirit and your mind is, which is why having the therapy component is so important, and it is almost always overlooked. No. All these things accumulate together. One of the other things, you can hear Ray say no in the background. He's talking to the pupperoos as they are trying to eat the cat. Oh, poor kitty. We have a cat. Well, this will be our fun fact. Fun fact. We have a kitty. She's half Maine Coon and half Bengal. And she turned 17 this year. She is still going strong. She is still catching mice. She is still putting puppies in their place. Except these two think she wants to play with them. Their brain hasn't gotten as big as their body yet. And I guess yeah. So another fun fact on that, the puppies. We don't know if they sit up on their back legs, like sitting almost like a human, and will punch each other like kangaroos. They will just sit there and punch fight each other, sitting straight up to each other. No idea where this comes from. They have all these cute little quirks, and they have some, like, their paws almost look like little bear paws, and they know how to use them. And it doesn't seem to affect them that they don't have thumbs. If you don't know how much was able to get out, we went and I explained how they locked Ray out of the truck at the vets. They are very good at getting into mischief. They can get out of their crate. They put the little paw through and open it. They watch you to see what you are doing and then copy you. It's kind of funny. But to watch them, like, their dexterity is insane, especially for such young pups. And they learn so easily. So these are going to be our mamas. And once they're a little older and we've got them set up, then comes the papa. But papas are always before mamas. Go figure. So as we go through the month of June, like I said, we're going to go through like different approaches and different stories of things people have gone through. Yeah, I've tried to share as much as my story, but I know there's gaps. If anybody ever has any questions, please feel free to either reach out and message us at www. dot the Doodle Den Foundation at AOL.com. And yes, I know it's AOL. I do not like change. And everything was already set up for AOL, and I know how to use that. I am sorry. I am a Gen Xer, and computers and we get along some days. I know how to do some things I don't. One of the other things that we are going to be doing, and we are super, super, super excited about, is we are going to be doing a campground. It's going to be a multi-use campground, and we plan on we started with 1 to 2 cabins that are completely handicapped accessible. And once a month, along with our monthly raffle, this will be a separate raffle, or not so much raffle, kind of, well, could be. We'll see how we set it up. Where it'll be a fully handicapped accessible cabin, and once a month we will select somebody to come and have a week-long stay with lodging away from all of this, free of charge. It will be their little, once they're far enough in their recovery to be able to do that, to give them a chance to come and just be with their family, be with nature, be in the quiet, and not hear the ringing phones or the doctors or the bad news. And that goes back to the double-edged sword with the whole internet thing, because chances are they may not have it when they go there. A higher elevation, but nonetheless in the woods. Or as some say, forest, which, I'm sorry, I like my forest. So those are just a few of the programs that we have in the works. And none of this is going to be possible without your support. So we ask that you please, if you're seeing us on Facebook, hit the subscribe button, because we will be putting more videos on there. And we are on YouTube. We are The Den. And if you can like our video and subscribe to our channel so you're notified when we do any uploads of videos, that would be awesome. Share, share, share. The more we get our word out, the better. Ooh, another big thing that happened this week was we have pamphlets. Thank you to our amazing Erin, who every week, because again, I'm a Gen Xer, sets up the restream or the streaming for me and for us so that we can all meet on various channels. Monday's Moments goes on YouTube, Facebook, both our page, Foundation's page, and our LLC's page, as well as I believe my personal page. We have 6 different platforms that it shows up on. So with your help, we've got this and we can make a change. Let's be the four founders of this, and let's, the people that have gone through this, let us take some of that power back and let us steam ahead and steam forward. We can do this. Instead of people, yes, amen, you are absolutely right. And amen, I am incredibly blessed that I am able to use this platform. And I am so blessed for the people in my life. And this is, the people that have gone through it know what needs to be done. They see where things are broken. They understand how that person in that bed. Oh, thank you, sweetie. They understand how the person in that bed is feeling. Now, what are we supposed? It's time that we band together, all of us, and make a community and make a change. Ultimately, within 5 years, we hope to have a chapter in every state in New England. Within 10 years, we hope to be moving throughout the rest of the country. You're a wonderful person too, sweetie. I love you and I miss you. And this is something that is so important in so many ways. So I am asking all of you out there to stand with me and let's change this. Let's take the power of our lives back, regardless of our physical abilities. We can still change things. We can still make a difference. And I know with your hands and my hands and all of us working together, this can happen. So thank you. Please visit the site above. We have 1 week left for our Father's Day raffle. Again, you can visit www.thedoodledenfoundation.org. And for every $5 donation is one entry into the raffle. So $5 is one entry, $2 entry. All proceeds go directly into the Doodle Den Foundation. This is sponsored by the Doodle Den LLC. So you can also check out our store on that, which is www.thedoodledenllc.com, where we have some awesome items at a very steep discount. We will also be posting, I think I'm going to pretty much be in inventory hell for the next few weeks. So there'll be some stuff being added as we go. Most definitely. And I also I will be starting a live on my LLC's webpage soon, where we can show different products as they're coming in. And also, just to let people know, check on our Facebook page, because we, unfortunately, on our LLC's website cannot sell anything with CBD in it. But on our Facebook page, we can. We have some things from Pana, which is, it's like one's a heating stick and a cooling stick for sprains and like pains. Works awesome. I also have some face creams that have CBD in it, which I've personally used. and I really like them. And I will try, different things here or there, and they've really liked them, and it's all from Pana. So we have those available, and those are available through our Facebook page. And if you're interested in those, I ask you can either directly message me, or you can email me at the either just email. You can email me at the Foundation AOL.com, and we can get you all set up. So we're pretty much winding down for tonight, because on Instagram you only have 60 minutes and you can never go over, which is really hard for me because I talk a lot and then I get sidetracked and it's like a real car going off to the side. But usually I don't forget, I come back around to it. I hope everybody has an amazing week, and I want to thank absolutely everybody who has been watching this, supporting this. Almost every month we have hit over 1,000 views just on our Facebook. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Please continue to share. Please continue to engage and support us and get involved. The best thing you can do is get involved. You can't expect change without making a change. So that is all for tonight. And next week, remember, 1 week left until our drawing. So I wish everybody an amazing, amazing week. God bless you all. And next week, I promise I won't look like such a hot mess, provided that my head doesn't. We all know me. So, have a great week, everybody. Bye. Good night. And feel free out. Say hi. Either one of the pages. Anytime. I love hearing from people in the comments. I love hearing from people posting on our page. Let us know you're here, you're listening, and you're with us. You're standing with us. So until next time, my friends, God bless and have a great night.